Hello, friends. Have you ever wondered which country truly holds the power in today's world? The one with the biggest influence that steers economies, sparks revolutions, and shapes our future. Let's start with a few questions. Which country boasts one of the fastest growing economies? Whose tech companies are fundamentally changing the way we live our daily lives? Whose innovation is spearheading the new space race? And which nation has created a new global culture through its media and entertainment? The answer, my friends, might surprise you. It's China. Yes, China is rapidly catching up and, in many areas, surpassing the world's former superpowers. But the real question is, how did China transform from a relatively isolated nation into a global economic and technological giant? What path did they take to become a world leader? Let's take a deep dive into history to understand China's remarkable journey. Our story begins in 1949. This was the year the Communist Revolution, led by Mao Zedong, established the country's current political system. After years of turmoil, civil war, and foreign invasion, China was finally unified. But despite this newfound unity, the nation was poor and isolated. The rest of the world saw it as a backwater country with little potential. At that time, China had few resources and even fewer allies. It was a slow and difficult start. The first few decades were marked by economic struggles, famines, and political purges. However, the world was on the cusp of a major change. Fast forward to the 1970s, a pivotal decade for China. In 1978, a new leader, Deng Xiaoping, who had a bold vision for a modern China, initiated a series of reforms that would redefine the country forever. China opened its doors to foreign trade, embraced market-oriented principles, and began to industrialize on a massive scale. The country's vast labor force and its willingness to learn from the West made it the ideal destination for global manufacturing. American companies, European businesses, and many others flocked to China to build their products. Simultaneously, the Chinese government launched an unprecedented campaign to develop its infrastructure, building modern roads, railways, ports, and factories. The entire country was being transformed before the world's eyes. But this wasn't just about making toys and textiles. China understood the critical importance of technology. Soon, the country evolved from a manufacturing hub for simple goods to a powerhouse for cutting-edge tech products. The rise of global giants like Huawei, Alibaba, and Tencent is a testament to China's soaring ambitions in the digital age. And China didn't stop at tech. The country invested heavily in space exploration and clean energy, quickly becoming a world leader in both fields. By the 2000s, China had secured its position as the world's second-largest economy, and its influence was being felt in every corner of the globe. But what about the global political game? This is where China's rise becomes even more interesting. For much of the 20th century, the US was the dominant superpower, projecting its values, culture, and economic model across the world. But China played a different game. Instead of focusing on exporting its political ideology, China concentrated on business, trade, and mutual growth. It created alternatives to Western-led financial systems, with initiatives like the Belt and Road Initiative, a massive infrastructure project connecting Asia, Africa, and Europe. China also began investing heavily in Africa and Latin America, gaining influence by providing loans and building infrastructure in countries that had often been overlooked by the West. And let us not forget China's military, now one of the largest and most technologically advanced in the world. China isn't just a participant in global politics anymore. In many areas, both economically and militarily, it's taking a leading role. However, the rise of China hasn't been without its challenges. Despite its incredible growth, the nation faces significant hurdles. There are issues of wealth inequality within the country, environmental concerns stemming from rapid industrialization, and growing geopolitical tensions with the US and other nations. China has also faced criticism regarding its human rights record, particularly its policies toward ethnic minorities, and its approach to free speech and political dissent. These factors have certainly created friction in its international relations. But the bottom line is this: China's ascent was not an accident. It was the result of a deliberate, long-term strategy. A country that was once viewed as poor and isolated has transformed into one of the most powerful forces on Earth. And what about the future? Projections suggest that China's economy will continue to grow, potentially overtaking the US as the world's largest. So, what does this mean for all of us? It means the global balance of power is shifting, and the world will need to adapt to a new reality. Will China become the next undisputed global superpower? Or will its rise be moderated by its internal challenges and external pressures? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain: China's journey from the 1970s to today, one of the most remarkable transformations in human history. What can we learn from this story? For countries around the world, the lesson is clear: invest in your people, embrace change, and always be open to the future. Superpowers aren't made overnight, they are built over decades through hard work, perseverance, and the courage to adapt with the times. And while China's rise is impressive, it's important to remember that no single power lasts forever. The future will always be shaped by new challenges, new leaders, and new ideas. So, what do you think? Which countries do you believe could rise to prominence in the future? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content.